Our today's topic is operations on real numbers. Before we start, let us solve this question. The question is, check whether 7 root 5, comma 7 by root 5, comma root 2 plus 21, comma pi minus 2 are irrational or not. We are given 4 numbers and we have to check whether they are irrational or not. So let us take the first one, 7 root 5. We know that if a number is irrational, then this cannot be expressed in the form of p by q, cannot be expressed either in the form of p by q, or the decimal expansion. The decimal expansion of irrational number is non-terminating and non-recurring or repeating. Both are same. Okay. Either if you want, you can write recurring or repeating. So by keeping this definition in mind, we will check whether the number is rational or irrational. So here we are given 7 root 5. We know that 7 is a rational number, but this is 7 multiplied by root 5. Root 5, if you write this root 5 in the decimal expansion form, this root 5 is actually 2.236 dot dot dot. So when you observe, you will find that this is non-terminating and non-repeating. Okay, it means root 5 is irrational. Okay, so when you multiply this number by any number, if you multiply this number by 1, 2, 3, if you multiply by any number, you will definitely get a non-terminating, non-repeating number. Okay, so the result is this result, when you multiply here by 7, the result is non-terminating, non-repeating. So the answer is non-terminating, non-repeating. It means this 7 root 5 is irrational. Okay. Now the second one, 7 by root 5. Okay, 7 by root 5. So again, means suppose if you multiply here by 5 root 5 and divide by, we generally don't write root 5 in the denominator. So what we do, whatever the number in the denominator, we'll multiply and we'll divide. Okay, this rationalization also we will discuss later. So here you will get 7 root 5 and root 5 and root 5, their product is 5. Now again see, this can also be written as 7 by 5 multiplied by root 5. This is non-terminating, non-repeating. Again, if you multiply here with any number, okay, divide by any number, you will again get a non-terminating and non-repeating number. So the result is again non-terminating and non-repeating. It means it is also an irrational number. Okay, let us see the third one, root 2 plus 21. Now we know that root 2 is irrational. Irrational means the decimal expansion is non-terminating, non-repeating. So if you add any number, okay, the value of root 2 is 1.4142 dot 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 dot. If you add 21, okay, you will get 22.4142 and so on. So again you will get a non-terminating, non-recurring number. It means this is also irrational. Okay, and the last one, pi minus 2. We know that the value of pi is, when you write, generally we take pi equals to 22 by 7, just this is nearly equal to value, not the exact value. The exact value of pi is, it is also a non-terminating, non-repeat. The exact value is 3.1415 and so on, dot 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 dot. So again, this pi is also non-terminating, non-repeating. So if you subtract 2, this value is 3.1415 and so on. So if you subtract 2, again you will get a non-terminating, non-repeating term. So this is also non-terminating, non-repeating. And what is this? This is pi minus 2. So this is also irrational. Okay, so on the basis of the decimal expansion, we can identify whether the number is rational or irrational. We have done this type of question in the previous video. Okay, if you want, you can check again. So this is just, I just wanted to recall you on this. Now let us see operations on real numbers. So the first thing is in your previous class, means in class 8 also, we studied rational numbers. Okay, we have done this chapter, rational numbers, and you know that rational numbers satisfy all the rational numbers. They satisfy this this commutative, associative, distributive laws for addition and multiplication. Okay, this you already know. Means what is the meaning? If we add, subtract, multiply or divide except 0 two rational number, we still get a rational number. Means rational number and rational number. When you add, when you subtract, when you multiply, when you divide two rational numbers, the result is again a rational number. This is the meaning. Okay. Now, what about irrational numbers? So this we will see by few examples. If we add two irrational numbers, so we know that root 2 is irrational, root 3 is also irrational. So if you add these two irrational number, see the decimal expansion of root 2, just now we have seen this is non-terminating, non-repeating, this is also non-terminating, non-repeating, so we cannot add exactly. Okay, so again the result is also non-terminating, non-repeating. So this is irrational. Irrational number, irrational number, sum is irrational. Okay, we cannot write root 2 plus root 3 equal to root 5. Please be careful. We cannot write root 3 plus root 2 equals to root 5, because if you add root 2 and root 3, the values, if you add, this value will not be equal to the value of root 5. Okay, that is why root 2 plus root 3 is not equals to root 5. The sum of these two numbers is this only. Okay, root 2 plus root 3 is this only. Root 2 plus root 3 is root 2 plus root 3. Okay, we cannot further simplify. That's it. So sum of these two irrational number is irrational. If we subtract these two, root 5 is irrational? Yes. Root 3 is irrational? Yes. Now if you subtract, again you will get an irrational number, because non-terminating, non-repeating, non-terminating, non-repeating, and the result is also non-terminating and non-repeating. Okay. So here when we subtract two irrational number, the result is also irrational. What if we multiply? If we multiply this 2 root 3, okay, and if we divide this 2 by root 3, again this is irrational, and this is also, just now in the previous case, in the previous examples we have seen the product is, and the division is also irrational number. So from here we can say that when we divide, when we add, subtract, multiply or divide rational number, the result is rational. But see this example. What if you add root 2 and minus root 2? Root 2 is irrational, minus 2 is also irrational. If you add these two numbers, you will get root 2 minus root 2. When we open the bracket, you will get minus. And root 2 minus root 2 is nothing but 0. This is irrational. This is irrational. But 0 is rational. See one more example. Root 3 minus root 3. Root 3 is irrational. Root 3 irrational. But when you subtract, you will get 0, which is a rational number. Take one more example. Root 3 multiply by root 3. Any number, when we means x multiply by x is x square. So this root 3 multiply by root 3 means root 3 square. And root means power 1 by 2. Root means power 1 by 2. So basically we'll get 3 raised to the power 2 by 2. 2 by 2 means 1. 3 raised to the power 1 means 3. So the product of these two rational, this is irrational, this is also irrational, but the product is rational. Okay, and also take this example, root 3 by root 3, which is nothing but 1. This is irrational, but the result is rational. Okay, so from these examples, or you can also take this one, 2 root 7 by root 7. Root 7 and root 7 will cancel out, so we'll simply get 2. This is irrational, and this is rational. So from this in the first 4 cases, the product of irrational is irrational, the sum, the subtraction, when we divide two irrational number, we are getting irrational number. But in the next examples, in all the cases, when you add, when you subtract, when you multiply or when you divide, it is not irrational. So we can say that sum, difference, product and division of irrational numbers are not always irrational. Okay? In the case of rational number, if you add two rational, subtract, multiply, divide, you will always get a rational number. But in the case of irrational numbers, sometimes they are irrational, but it's not always that they are always, it means it's not always irrational. Okay? Now what if we add, subtract, divide, multiply a rational number and irrational number? Means one number is rational, another one is irrational. Okay? So one number is rational, another one is irrational. Okay, so let us check what is the result. If we add one rational and irrational number, then what will be the answer? So 2 is a rational number and root 3 is irrational. So when you add these two numbers, as we have seen earlier in the first example, these 4 examples, okay, here it is same as root 2 plus root 2 plus 21. So this root 3 is irrational, the decimal expansion is non-terminating, non-repeating. So when you add these two, again you will get a non-terminating, non-repeating. Okay, means 2 plus the value of root 3 is 1.732 something like this. So when you add, you will get 3.73 and it is non-terminating and non-repeating. Okay, it means it's the sum of rational and irrational number is, here it is coming irrational. Okay, now what about the difference? If we subtract 2 and 3, if you subtract root 3 from 2, then again we will get an irrational number. Yes or no? Of course we will get. When you subtract, you will get a non-terminating, non-repeating term. So it is again irrational. What if you multiply 2 and root 3? When you multiply this non-terminating, non-repeating number by a number, again you will get a non-terminating, non-repeating. So it's again an irrational number. And the fourth case, what if we divide? So when we divide, as I said, you can multiply by root 3, you can divide by root 3. So you'll get 2 by 3 root 3. This is rational, this is irrational. So when you multiply, you will get an irrational number, non-terminating. Okay, multiply by this number, you will get a non-terminating, non-repeating number. So in all these cases, we are getting irrational number. Okay. So we can say that the sum or difference of rational number and irrational number is irrational. Okay, and the product or quotient means division. The product in general word, we can say division of rational and irrational number is also irrational. Okay, and the previous result, if we add, subtract, multiply or divide two irrational number, the result may be rational or irrational. So these are the three important points